Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Hi. It's 7 o'clock. I'm seeing if we have everyone here. I don't see Carla yet. I just text. Oh, hi, Carla. I apologize. All right, 7 o'clock meeting to order. If it, well, I don't know if anyone's recording or videotaping, but if they need, but if so, they need to acknowledge it at this time. If anyone from the public wishes to access the meeting, they can do so by calling the following conference line, 1-929-205-6099. Zoom meeting ID 840-3552-5668. Password FinCom, all caps FINCOM. All meetings within the meeting agenda, all items within the meeting agenda are subject to deliberation of votes. Everyone's present remotely, everyone is remote. And the first item was Article 2, fiscal year 2027 operating budget.
Thank you. So this is the proposed operating budget. We are balanced now at $84,586,115. It matches the sources and uses information that we talked about at your last meeting at the budget hearing. It accounts for the reduction to the operating budget for the Bourne Public Schools, and it accounts for the adjustments or the revisions that were made to the Upper Cape Tech assessment due to the enrollment error. So if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them. But this is where we ended up after all of the adjustments that we needed to make after receiving the cherry sheets.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions or comments about the budget and the associated article, Article 2? Well, thank you, Town Administrator. I know the town also, took off a few $100,000 to make this work and did a lot of lobbying. Thank you.
Thank you.
Would anyone like to make a motion to recommend approval of this article in support of the budget?
So moved.
Okay, motion made to approve
Jim,
by Wayne,
it's Amanda. I'll second.
second by Amanda. Roll call vote. Amanda,
Yes.
Carla,
Yes.
Wayne,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes. Thank you. Next one, Article 7, special legislation for Enbridge gas relocation.
So Articles 7 and 8 both deal with the Enbridge project. And if you remember, this is the gas main that has to be relocated prior to the Sagamore Bridge being reconstructed. So the first one, Article 7, is there's a piece of land that the main has to cross that is owned by the town of Bourne, but it is protected under Article 97 of the Constitution, the Commonwealth's Constitution. So part of the process, in order to allow them to use that town-owned property, town meeting has to vote to file special legislation, and then both houses of the legislature have to vote by a 2/3 supermajority. The other piece is that the Conservation Commission has to unanimously agree and approve the project, which the Concom has already done that. So Article 7 is the next step to allow them to relocate the main and file, and then the town would file the special legislation to allow them to cross the piece of town-owned property that's protected.
Thank you. And I forget, someone have to find other land to put into conservation to compensate for that? And would that be on Enbridge?
Yes, and they did find that land, and it was the Concom was satisfied with it. It was satisfactory. So the Concom has essentially approved the replacement land.
Thank you. All right, any questions or comments on Article 7?
Just one quick one. They had to get, didn't they also have to get permission from, was it either the electrical or the cable company to use their same, I don't know, you call them pipes, sort of, that goes under the Cape Cod Canal? Did that already happen?
So, they are co-locating in the easement that Eversource has. So they do have permission, or they have worked out an agreement with Eversource to co-locate their infrastructure in the existing easement
Okay, great. Thank you. With Eversource. Okay.
with Eversource.
Okay. All right. Okay, thank you.
Any more comments or questions? No. Would anyone like to make a motion to recommend approval of Article 7?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Jim, I'll second.
A motion made to approve by Wayne, second by Amanda. Roll call vote. Amanda,
Yes.
Carla,
Yes.
Wayne,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
and the chair vote yes. Thank you. Next, the related Article 8. Is this the same in every respect, except it's a different piece of land?
No, actually, it's not. It's the same piece of land, but this is actually giving the gas company the right to locate within the easement. So it's the same piece of property. The first article was to allow them to use the protected open space. The second article, Article 8, the town has to give them the right to also use the easement. Right now, the town has only given Eversource the permission to use the easement, so this would extend that right to locate there to Enbridge.
Oh, thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, motion approved made by Wayne, second by Amanda. Any further discussion on this? Okay, all in favor of this transfer easement? Roll call vote. Amanda,
Yes.
Carla,
Yes.
Wayne,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
and the chair vote yes. Thanks. Next, item 3D, Article 9, accept Spinnaker Lane and Daniel Webster Lane as public ways.
So, Article 9 was presented to you by Tim Lydon a little while ago, and the town received a petition from the property owners on these two streets, and they followed the policy voted by the select board, and have provided all the information that the town needs to essentially be taken as public ways. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to try to answer them.
Thank you. And what's in it for the town? We get more money from the state if depending on how many miles of road we have?
Yes, they would count towards the town's chapter 90 calculation for aid for public roads.
Thank you. Okay, any questions? I'm sorry.
No,
Any,
I just have a quick
ahead.
one. Tim later had also given us estimates about what was needed to bring the roads up to code. I just want a little clear, I guess just pure clarity that the residents who live on that road have to pay that amount first before we take them into our inventory.
So, if you, at the very end of the motion, this is actually this motion is authorizing the assessment of a betterment. And the amount is $602,250 for that betterment. So, if this passes at town meeting, the select board would better these properties and record that betterment against the title, and the property owners would be responsible to pay back the betterment.
And they pay that back by increased taxes?
Um, I think you asked if
And
you
how
pay
do they
that
pay back
back
the town?
through the property taxes. And yes, people have a choice of paying it back over
Yes,
time, or they have a choice of paying it all at once. But if they choose to pay it over time, it will be an assessment on the property tax bill.
thank you, Marlena.
You're welcome.
Are any more questions about Article 9? Would someone like to make a motion to about this?
Wayne, I think you're on mute.
I'll make a motion to approve. Thank you.
I'll make a motion
I'll
to
second.
pass. Okay.
All right, good. Well, there's a motion made by Wayne, seconded by Amanda before anyone got in there.
Mhm.
Okay, any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, roll call vote. Amanda,
Yes.
Carla,
Yes,
thank you. Wayne,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes, thank you. Next, item E, which is Article 10, betterment for temporary repairs to a private way on Tara, Eldridge, and Eldridge Extension roads.
So this one is similar, but a little bit different. These roads are not being taken as public. But the town also received a petition from property owners on these streets to ask the town to levy a betterment to repair them. And there is a provision in the state law that allows us to do this. Obviously after a vote of town meeting, but these streets will remain private. So the betterment will be assessed in the same fashion, in the same way, repayable over time, but they will not become private road. Excuse me, they will not become public roads.
Thank you. Any questions or comments about Article 10?
Motion to
I-
approve.
Okay, Wayne
sorry.
makes a motion to recommend approval of this article,
I'll second.
second by Amanda. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote. Amanda,
Yes.
Carla,
yes,
Wayne,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
and the chair vote yes. Thank you. Okay, next, item 3F, Article 16, Community Preservation Act, conservation restriction for Bourne Conservation Trust. Mr. Johnson, are you there to talk about that?
No, I'm ready. I think they presented before you.
Yes,
Yeah, and CPC is recommending it along with the open space.
thank you. Are any questions or comments about this item?
Mr. Chairman, if I could,
Certainly.
I'm having difficulty understanding why we should pay. What's the figure on this one, Mr. Chairman? Do you know offhand?
I do know.
325.
How much, Barry?
325.
Okay, so why should we pay $325,000 for to buy the construction rights on property that's already in conservation land?
Well, the basic premise of this, as I understand it, yes, you're right. It's the Bourne Conservation Trust has bought it. But what this does, by the town being a partner with them, this guarantees through a conservation restriction in perpetuity that the public will have access to it, et cetera, for trail network and et cetera, in conjunction with the trust. And what makes this also attractive, as you know, it directly abuts the county land, as which the town either has acquired or in the process of it. So that,
But didn't we already buy the land last year?
no. Oh, the town land I can't speak to. I mean, the county.
What did we pay last year? Didn't we pay
That was the
$750
Austin
million
land.
for this?
No, that was the Austin land on County Road next to the water pump. Water District pumped the brick building. We paid 20, appropriated 2.1 million, and we received back $1,050,000. That went to the Open Space Recreation Fund, portion of the fund. That there is no grant at this point to reimburse us for this expenditure.
You've lost me here, Barry. Are you saying that this land is not currently in conservation trust?
No, the Bourne Conservation Trust has purchased it. They own it. And under this arrangement, Wayne, they will still continue to own it, except the town will hold a conservation restriction on it, which guarantees it's an open space and public access in perpetuity.
So how is the land deeded at the current time? If we already own it,
No,
no,
Wayne,
okay,
we
I'm
don't
sorry.
own it.
We do not own this land yet.
The Bourne Conservation Trust owns the parcel,
Okay.
right? So what they're asking is for us to appropriate $325,000 to basically purchase a conservation restriction on the parcel, again, which guarantees in perpetuity access to the public.
If the Bourne Conservation Trust currently owns the property, then isn't it already exempt from any construction on it because the Conservation Trust owns it?
It is not.
Right.
So you can sell that land to any builder you want.
Yes, this is Jack Dolly from the Bourne Conservation Trust. Barry has explained it well. Because of the timing associated with the sale, the Bourne Conservation Trust stepped in to acquire the property, i.e. tie up the property for $650,000 against a $700,000 appraisal. And we did so on January 26th of this calendar year. At present, there is not a conservation restriction on the property, preserving the property in perpetuity for conservation and or open space purposes. And we are looking, the trust is looking to partner with the town and others to put in place a conservation easement that would preserve the put a restriction from any development in perpetuity on the property on behalf of the town, its residents, and as Barry has said, link some critical abutting conservation properties together.
So I'm still confused on this. Who put up the $650,000 that you're talking about, or whatever the number was?
The $650,000 has been organized by Bourne Conservation Trust through some outside partners, namely the Compact for the Cape Cod Conservation Trust, Mark Robinson, who was at our meeting with you folks last, as well as other resources that are accessible to the trust. And we are trying to assemble a capital stack to retire and or reimburse those donors and or lenders, aka Mark Robinson from the Compact of Cape Cod Conservation Trust.
Who will get this money?
The Bourne Conservation Trust will receive this money, and it will ultimately be transferred to the Compact for Cape Cod Conservation Trust.
So the money that we paid last year went to a completely different parcel of land. Is that what you're saying?
That is correct, Mr. Sampson. That went to what is referred to as the Austin property, which is further north on County Road, and abuts the town wellfield and the town forest lands. That was approximately a 28 to 29 acre parcel, and that we consummated all of that in 2024.
I'm not comfortable with a proposal being made to restrict building on the property when in essence the money is going back to the investors that put up the money to buy it in the first place. I think it should have been presented straightforward in that way. I think this is a convoluted way to get around it.
Two things, Mr. Sampson. Number one, it's not investors. The Compact for the Cape Cod Conservation Trust is, a longstanding 40-plus year conservation organization based on Cape Cod whose purpose is solely to assist local conservation trusts in acquiring and preserving critical open space lands. Secondly, to your point, I understand your concern about the timing, but we don't control the seller. And we had a choice of either moving forward to tie up the property as we did, or or not so.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've got no problem with that. I've got no problem with that.
And
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and had this been a 7.5 acre piece of land floating around somewhere and not having some contiguous properties associated with the hospital and other Bourne Conservation Trust area lands, where knitting them all together seemed to make perfect sense to us in our mission, we decided to move forward without the certainty of how to capitalize the transaction. And our belief was that, given that we had had a very, very strong partnership arrangement on the Austin property, less than a year ago, for far more money, $2.1 million at the time, that this would be an appropriate piece of land to approach the CPC to do a similar type of partnership.
I think that I understand the way you're explaining it now.
Thank you.
I just think that it should have been presented as payment for the property rather than saying that we're buying the rights to prevent construction on the piece of property that the trust currently owns.
Anyone else have any questions or comments?
I have a
Well, go ahead.
question. So does Bourne Conservation Trust, what is their tax structure? Are they exempt from property taxes? Do they pay a discounted rate, or are they paying whatever the assessed value is?
Excuse me, this is Jack Dolly again. We are a not-for-profit organization, and conservation lands are taxed as open space conservation land. I can't speak specifically to what rate is applied to it. I believe so. I won't speculate.
It's zero, right? As a nonprofit organization, they don't pay any property taxes, or
that would be my belief as well, Chair.
Thank you. Well, I don't know if the chairperson is supposed to express an opinion, but once this land is essentially like town open space now, but the town will, if this goes through, the town will be paying somewhere around half of the value of the property as if they had bought it themselves, for really all the benefits of it. And then maybe a little bit more, because the Bourne Conservation Trust will be responsible for maintenance. And the BCT is sort of like a partner of the town because they can work more quickly. You know, if something comes up, they can buy it. And then the town can't do that. They have to go to town meeting, and a seller may not be willing to wait or take a chance. And returning some money to the Bourne Conservation Trust through this, enables them to do it again, to buy another piece of land if one should become available that would be valuable as open space. And for all these CPA articles, they have been vetted by the CPA committee, and this money, although it doesn't have to be used for this project, has to be used for something in open space. It's not something you can transfer to operating expenses, library, fire station, or anything else. All right. Having said that, anyone have any further comments or questions? Okay. Would anyone like to make a motion either way on this article?
I'll make a motion to recommend approval.
Okay. Amanda made a motion to recommend approval. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Carla. Any further discussion on this article? Seeing none, roll call vote. Amanda,
Yes.
Carla,
Yes.
Wayne,
Abstain.
okay, Tom,
Yes.
and chair vote yes. Thank you. Okay, next.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next. Item 3G, Article 17, another CPA article, Housing Assistant Corporation for temporary shelter or temporary housing in Hyannis. Is there someone who would like to speak to that?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you for having us back again. My name is Robert Brennan, Chief Legal Officer for Housing Assistance. As we presented at the last meeting, this is a request, $100,000 toward the creation of community housing in the form of emergency regional shelter located in Hyannis, serving all towns on Cape Cod. It's the only regional emergency overnight shelter for individuals on the Cape. 84% of the folks who have been there over the last 2 years have identified one of the Cape's 15 towns as their last residence or where they are from. Bourne is, we're told by Catholic Charities, who is the operator, has a second represented population behind Barnstable. On the community housing scale, this is the lowest rung on that ladder. These are residences of last resort for folks who have nowhere else to turn. They serve 50 beds, and again, it's operated by Catholic Charities under contract with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Catholic Charities provides the overnight accommodations, and of their own accord and with their own funding, separate and apart from the state, they provide wraparound services to help folks stabilize, help them move to that next rung on the housing ladder, more permanent, more stable. This is, in effect, the housing safety net for our region. And again, serves the complete region. The population that it's serving is increasingly elderly. And these are also folks, however, that are working. Right now and during the winter, about 50% of the guests at the shelter do have minimum wage jobs. We're talking about subsistence living on Cape Cod, not enough to support housing. That number goes north of 70% when the summer months roll around. So again, these are, Cape Cod's working poor. And the goal is, to get them stabilized, get them into more permanent housing. The move to the new shelter at 460 will be significant because it provides this housing now on one floor. The existing facility at 77 Winter Street for this aging population is spread across 3 floors. and they're all bunk beds. I took a community member through just 2 weeks ago, and it is moving when you see the conditions that our seniors are having to live and navigate in this shelter. I'm happy to answer any questions regarding this. Certainly precedent for regional funding of projects. I was on the board of Forward when Bourne, along with every other town on the Cape, provided CPC funding for supportive housing for young adults on the autism spectrum. I have a son who's on that spectrum, and just like that served the regional need, so too does this serve a separate, distinct, and in a lot of ways more pressing regional need. And also precedent for shelter funding here, in our region, 21, 22, and 23. Towns of Tisbury and West Tisbury funding Harbor Homes of Martha's Vineyard for a homeless shelter for women. So again, both precedent on regional funding and precedent for shelter funding as community housing under the Community Preservation Act. And I'd again be happy to answer any specific questions you may have.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, go ahead, Wayne.
Sir, did I understand you to say in your opening statement that Bourne is only second to Hyannis in its usage of this building?
That's what I'm told by Catholic Charities. Catholic Charities is the one who maintains, where folks are identifying from, and and again, they're giving an address of where they were last, resident, where they are from, or where they have family.
Okay, so, sir, in the first presentation that was made several weeks ago, somebody
Yes.
gave the figure that in the last 4 years, there were 58 beds used in that facility from Bourne, that identified from Bourne. And if you have 4 years times 365 days times 50 beds, that's only 58 beds out of 73,000 potential. I don't see how 58 can be second to Barnstable with that
So,
many.
Mr. Sampson, that number was that was to identify individuals and not bed stays. So individuals stay at the shelter until they can move into additional housing. So that was not bed stays. It was not counting if a person is there for 4 months, 5 months. It was counting them as one and not counting them as 5 times 30.
I find it very difficult to believe that Bourne is the second highest in the county. I can't believe that we're higher than Falmouth and Yarmouth and areas like that. And quite honestly, before I can vote for this, I'd like to see some documentation, because I think that those numbers are skewed outrageously.
Well, again, I can tell you that those beds are available, and they remain available, whenever that need arises, as vacancies exist. So this is very much a safety net. That 365 days a year is a safety net for the entire region.
And I respect that. I've heard a lot of conversation in the last 6 months about housing, emergency housing, workforce housing. Everybody is talking about housing. And you mentioned the $100,000 that we gave last year or the year before to the Dennis project. That is certainly a worthwhile venture. However, it's one that the residents of Bourne likely have no chance of ever having somebody in there. I think $200,000 for this housing project or these housing projects is an awful lot of money at a time when our community, like others, I think all the communities on the Cape, are facing some very difficult times. And I think that the residents expect us to ask very tough questions, because in the near future, we're going to have to make very difficult decisions in the next couple years. And I think we need to start now, sir. And this is not disrespectful to you or your organization or your position, but I think that we've got to start being careful.
Well, thank you for that comment, Mr. Sam. But just to clarify, Housing Assistance Corporation, for whom I'm speaking now, was not part of the Forward project in Dennisport.
I respect that.
Was
I understand that.
that was separate.
Yeah.
And I would just offer, respectfully, the perspective on the value of a regional shelter to accommodate, our most vulnerable at their greatest time of need. I think that perspective is one that's informed by whether one's family, has a person in need, whether seniors from Bourne, due to no cause of their own, lose their home. And that happens again repeatedly. Seniors are losing their homes and being put into the shelter or forced to go to the shelter as a result of medical expenses, forcing the sale of home. It's a story that's repeated again and again. And I think certainly the perspective and the value really depends on whether folks and families are in that position or are fortunate enough not to be.
You mentioned two properties in Barnstable that you're having housing at. Do you own both of those properties outright, or are you leasing them?
Housing Assistance Corporation owns both the property at 77 Winter Street, where the shelter is located now and spread across 3 floors, and it owns the property at 460 West Main Street, into which the shelter will be moving. And that the building permit for that work was issued today, and the Massachusetts Land Court today happened to issue a decision affirming that emergency shelter operated by religious groups like Catholic Charities is a valid use under the Dover Amendment.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sue Ross.
Thank you. I just wanted to make a couple of points in support of this. I'm Sue Ross, chairperson of the Bourne Affordable Housing Trust and Housing Partnership. We voted unanimously to support this article. We get calls all the time from people who need shelter. And as a matter of fact, just recently, thank goodness Housing Assistance Corporation was around. I dealt with a Vietnam veteran with PTSD that was a 25-year resident of Bourne, whose partner died. And when she died, he lost his housing and was living on the street. And Housing Assistance Corporation came and got him some housing. Now, he had been a resident of Bourne. He had been a good resident, and all of a sudden, overnight, he was left without anything. And he was a senior citizen and had no place to go. And Housing Assistance Corporation stepped up to the plate immediately and took him for us and got him housing and eventually worked him into a different thing. So I think I don't know why we need to count how many in Bourne go, but I know for a fact that we need it and that people do use it. And then they are guided and counseled and receive medical care and are helped along to go the next step up to better housing. And as a resident of the Cape, we should be contributing to everyone on the Cape to be able to do this. But if all we're going to do is wonder about Bourne, well, okay, but Bourne is using it. And I can tell you that for a fact. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. Johnson.
I just want to state, when you get into, we've worked an awful lot on this particular article, as recent as yesterday. And I just want to, when you see the motions and everything, when they come out, that this particular article carries with it conditions, and that the Housing Assistance Corporation has agreed to every one of them, and their application now contains the opinion from town council, assistant town council Ryan Holmquist, of which we followed. And it says basically in the motion, set forth and incorporated in the application of HAC upon the execution of a grant agreement with the applicant under the following conditions. If not the applicant, the fee owner of the site shall also execute the grant agreement and comply with its conditions, including recording of a permanent restriction for community housing. Shelter should be administered in a non-discriminatory manner. Applicant shall show full funding commitment before disbursements of funds, and grant agreement shall expire if funding is not achieved within 2 years or another time the CPC shall decide, and the grant shall expire if construction not completed within 3 years or another time as the CPC may decide. That is all part of the motion for the article.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, through you to Barry.
Yeah, Mr. Sampson?
Barry, do I understand correctly that the legal opinion from town council talked about those restrictions that you just stated, and that in his letter, now you may have clarified this in the meantime, but the proponents had agreed to all but the last issue? Has that been resolved?
Yeah, Rob, you want to speak to that, or I can?
Sure. I think maybe with regard to the last issue, Mr. Sampson, it was conditioning on funding by the Barnstable CPC. And on that one, housing assistance works across a broad spectrum. This past year, we received funding for 50 ownership units. We received $1 million of funding from the Housing Trust administering Community Preservation Act funds, which is how it's structured in Barnstable. In light of that project, and in light of the fact that Barnstable, as host community, both forgoes the real estate taxes on the shelter, and that Barnstable shoulders the operational expenses in the form of first responders, serving the shelter, which, based on the population and their needs, be they medical calls or transport calls, is a significant burden for the town of Barnstable. So we had explained that, and that being the reason why we weren't applying for funds to Barnstable in light of the significant contributions and burden that they already shoulder as the host community for this shelter.
I agree with that, and that was our understanding in our recommendation and their presentation.
Thank you. Any more questions or comments on this? All right. Looks like none. Would anyone like to make a motion one way or another about recommending approval of this article?
I move to approve.
All right. So motion to recommend approval by Tom. Is there a second?
I'll second, Carla.
Second by Carla. Thank you. So at least we can have a discussion. Any further discussion on this article?
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Sampson?
So I've still got a problem with this article. You sent us a letter over the weekend indicating the current status of the other towns involved. It appears that other towns are having second thoughts or want additional information on this as well, including one town that approved considerably less than the $100,000 that they're asking for. My recommendation would be that we temporarily hold off on this article until all of those questions are answered. I would be uncomfortable voting to approve this article until all the towns have had an opportunity to ask the different questions, something we may not have thought of, or some concerns that we haven't addressed, and that we're all on the same page. I would hate to be one of the first towns to approve $100,000 and then find out that there's more information that should come out later on.
Any reply from these proponents?
Yes, thank you.
Point of order,
I'm-
Mr. Chairman. I believe that the motion has been made. There's no discussion on this. It's only between the committee members.
You're right. I apologize. Any further discussion on this article? I could see if it carries or if we do something else. All right. All in favor of the motion to recommend approval of this article, Article 17, roll call vote. Amanda,
No.
Carla,
I'm going to say yes.
Wayne,
No,
Tom,
Abstain.
the chair will vote yes. So it carries, right?
Two noes, two yeses, and one abstained.
It does not
It
carry.
does
Oh,
not
okay.
it does not carry.
Got it. Sorry. So, town administrator, would you recommend that well, it's going to be either way, there's no recommendation, right? So is it worthwhile to have
Well-
another motion not to recommend, or is that the same thing?
Jim, since we've concluded our vote, do you want to give the proponent an opportunity to sort of respond to Wayne? But I do agree with Wayne, if there's still outstanding items that can be addressed, I'd rather have those answered before we jump into this.
Yeah. I'd love the opportunity to respond if I could. The only requirement for Community Preservation Act funding is that it be for housing no greater than 100% of AMI, and that the affordability is reflected in a deed restriction. That's it. There are folks that are, as I mentioned earlier, the building permit was issued today. A Dover determination was made that this is a legitimate Dover Amendment use by Catholic Charities. A decision issued today by the Massachusetts Land Court on a case in Somerville
Could I just
involving
interrupt
the
you?
same.
Could I ask you
Yeah.
to explain what the Dover Amendment is? I know you mentioned that previously.
Sure.
Some
No,
context.
thank you, and I apologize. So the Dover Amendment exempts from zoning any use that is of a religious or educational nature, right? So this project was by right under Massachusetts Chapter 40A, Section 3, which is the Dover Amendment, which again exempts that use. That this did not have to go through zoning review. Folks that did not want to see this project, have gotten desperate. I think they knew that the Dover determination by the building commissioner was going to issue as it issued and as the building permit was issued today. And I think they also knew that the land court was poised to issue a ruling on a nearly identical case out of Somerville, affirming the validity of this use under Dover. What has been started and is really been a sad campaign of trying to, under the belief that they could kill the project by killing the funding. Misstatements were made, misrepresentations were made. I saw a post that was on Facebook today saying that towns, including Chatham, had pulled this. It's simply not true. I'm sure that some of what Mr. Sampson is seeing is that same noise.
Well, let me stop you right there, sir. I have not seen one single article that you're talking about. I am asking these questions on behalf of the residents of Bourne.
No, I understand.
That is the only place I'm coming from.
No, I understand that, and I didn't mean to imply otherwise. Just when you said you had read or seen,
we received a letter earlier this week from our chairman explaining what other towns have done up to this point. And that is specifically what I referred to, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So the what the towns have requested and what we've agreed, and again, similar to what the Forward project agreed, because I know because I was involved with that, is affordable deed restrictions running to the benefit of every town. So in addition to the grant agreement, which was suggested and proposed by town council, and which we agreed to, there would also be a deed restriction running in perpetuity, ensuring that the use of this property continue to serve only individuals within the purview of the CPA, meaning below 100% of AMI. In reality, again, we're talking about folks that are much closer to 0% of AMI than they are even to 30% of AMI. So that affirmatively will be in place for the benefit of every single town, including Bourne and including every other town that's taken this to town meeting for funding. That really is, the only question. Will this be secured? Absolutely will. Everything else that was proposed for the grant agreement, securing complete funding, absolutely. Use of the funds within the 2 years, absolutely. As I mentioned, work is starting on this now, and completion of the work, within the 3 years. So no objections, no issues, and I hope, knowing that the deed restriction will be in place, securing Bourne's interest in this in perpetuity, that this might, cause the committee to reconsider and to, recommend this going forward, allow it to go to a vote at town meeting, allow the townspeople to decide to fund, this safety net for the most vulnerable among them, or not.
Thank you. Well, Mr. Brennan, this will go to town meeting regardless of whether we have a recommendation one way or another, and everyone will get to vote. Well, we do have a vote, which was a tie. Is there anyone have any objection? Just leaving it at that and moving on?
No objection.
I'm fine with that. I think we can just maybe add some comments, and just from my perspective, I don't object for the deed for this project. I don't, this project is obviously valid. I think the question is just on whether we should contribute to the funding. So I don't think there should be any confusion, at least from my perspective there.
All right, thank you. We'll give some information about our deliberation at town meeting. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so next is Article, item 3H, Article 20, CPA reserves.
Could Barry just explain that for us, please?
Yeah, Mr. Johnson?
Or if he's already gone, is Erica, do you know, is this just replenishing each of the subcategories within the CPA?
Yeah, so this is a standard article that we place on every annual town meeting warrant. This is just estimating the fiscal 27 revenues, and designating them to the reserve so that they're available to spend when we get to the fall town meeting.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chairman, I'd vote to recommend.
I'll second. You're on mute, Jim.
Sorry. Okay, motion made by Wayne, second by Amanda on Article H, item H. Any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Amanda?
Yes.
Carla? We'll skip Carla for a moment. Wayne?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
And chair vote yes. Carla, do you have a vote? Well, we could put her as not voting for now. It's 4-0.
We do, because we need her for the quorum,
Yeah.
we have to make sure that were able to connect with her.
Oh,
She'll,
public-
Okay, I think I'm back. Hello.
Oh, yes.
Sorry. Yep, sorry. Sorry. I don't know
Hi.
what happened.
Welcome
Hi.
back. So
Thank you.
we are voting on Article
20.
Yeah, CPA reserves, and you're the last person to vote.
Yes.
Okay, so it's unanimous. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Who made the motion? Sorry.
That was made by Wayne, second by Amanda.
Okay, thank you.
Next, item 3I, Article 21, Stabilization Fund.
so this is a contribution or a transfer of free cash into the general stabilization fund, which is really the town's rainy day account. And we typically like to do closer to $200,000, but for this year, we're only recommending $160,000. And we're moving that other 40 grand to the snow and ice deficit. So we still meet policy. I'm making sure we didn't lose anybody. No, okay, we're good. We're still meeting policy as far as maintaining the balance within kind of the framework that we want to, or within the bounds that we want to. But for this year, we're recommending 160,000 to be transferred into stabilization.
Thank you. And the way this works is a majority vote puts the money in, but it takes 2/3 vote to get the money out.
That's right.
Thanks.
Motion to approve?
Great. Motion approved by Wayne,
I'll second.
second by Amanda. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none. Amanda,
Yes.
Carla,
Yes.
Wayne,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
thank you. And the chair vote yes. Next is Article 22, the Capital Stabilization Fund.
So for this one, we're recommending a transfer of $850,000 of free cash into capital stabilization. And this is, if you recall, we used just over $1.5 million at the January town meeting in 2025 to purchase the property for the new fire station on Clay Pond Road. And that $1.5 million came out of capital stabilization. So we want to replace that. We can't do it all in 1 year, but we're doing about half of it now at this town meeting. And the reason it's important to keep a healthy balance in the capital stabilization fund is this is how we are funding debt service. So we've talked about it a number of times. It's not ideal. It would be better if we could fund debt service under the levy and bring it fully in the budget, but we don't have the revenues to support that. So capital stabilization is used as a source on the sources and uses. It's just under $500,000, I think, for FY27 for, what is it, Erica?
492,000.
492. Okay. So we're using $492,000 from this account to pay for debt service in FY27. So it's important that we make sure that we put the money back into it so we can continue to fund the debt in future years.
So that money goes in with a majority vote at town meeting, right? And can it just come out to pay debts with a majority vote, or just is up to discretion of the administration?
The law changed a couple years ago as part of a Municipal Modernization Act, and special purpose stabilization funds can be used with a majority vote of town meeting. So in Article 2, when Article 2 passes to fund the operating budget, that vote also authorizes the use of capital stabilization. And it's a majority vote because it's a special purpose stabilization. The general stabilization still needs the supermajority.
Thank you. Okay, any questions or comments on this one, Capital Stabilization Fund? Would anyone like to make a motion about this one way or another?
I'll make a motion to recommend approval.
Okay. Motion to recommend approval made by Amanda,
Second,
second by Wayne. Any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Amanda,
Yes.
Carla? Let's go to.
Yes.
Thank you. Wayne,
yes.
Tom,
Yes.
and the chair vote yes. Thank you. The next item 3K, Article 27, Special Education Reserve Fund.
Thank
Motion to
you.
approve.
Wow.
Actually, Erica, I'm looking at the document. We still have to work on a motion for this one. I don't have a motion for this one yet.
Okay, we'll get your motion. The motion will be, it'll be from raise and appropriate for $115,922, I believe, and that's on your sources and uses. So this was the savings from the Upper Cape Tech adjustment, and we're putting that directly towards the school budget, well, towards the school special education purpose reserve fund.
Thank you. Any comments or questions on this? No. Is there a motion to recommend approval of this Special Education Reserve Fund
Motion
contribution?
to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, motion approved by Wayne, second by Amanda. Roll call vote. Amanda,
Yes.
Carla,
Yes.
Wayne,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
and chair vote yes. Thanks. So next discussion, all annual town meeting articles. So Marlene, do you have so this item, what does it refer to exactly in this case?
So just if anyone has any outstanding questions left on anything on the annual warrant.
Got it. Anyone have anything?
I'm all set.
Thank you. And next, agenda item number 4, review special town meeting articles and draft motions for recommendations. 4A, special town meeting article 1, unpaid bills.
Yes. So we have, I'm just opening up my motions. We have 3 unpaid bills. I think I mentioned at the last time we met, one of them is a legal bill because I had forgotten to encumber the previous fiscal year. So legal bill in the amount of $11,675.38. And then there are 2 bills from iSwim from a prior year. One of them in the amount of $943.42, and one in the amount of $715.38. So the total transfer from free cash to pay the unpaid bills is $13,334.18.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on this one? No. Is there a
Motion to
motion?
approve.
Okay, motion to recommend approval by Wayne. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Amanda. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote. Amanda,
Yes.
Carla,
Yes.
Wayne,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
and the chair vote yes. Thanks. Next, special town meeting article 3, a petition that's a private petition, right, for special legislation for a liquor license. We heard about that last week, but there weren't a lot of specificity. I don't know if anything's changed since then.
I don't have any further information.
I maybe go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, has the selectmen voted on this article yet?
No, they will be hearing it tomorrow night.
So maybe we should vote on it in our next meeting, whether it's just before town meeting or before then.
So I
I-
would
I-
be comfortable to vote. Sorry, Wayne, to cut you off. I would be comfortable voting to not recommend approval. I believe that's what we did last time because we weren't comfortable with the last person that brought a private petition forward circumventing the process. I think this seems to be opening up the door for others. I don't know what ramifications there are, but I don't know how frequently this is going to come up if other businesses need this. I'm certainly for business in the town, but I don't know about circumventing the process through special legislation for multiple businesses.
So, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
so Amanda, I think that this situation is actually different from last year's because this petitioner is coming forward with a straightforward petition to seek a permit through the legislature. And last year's was different in the fact that the selectmen had already issued a license, but they were holding it in abeyance until a determination was made on the market basket license. So I know that my concern last time was, wait a minute, the town's already voted to give it to him. He's just got to wait for the original appeal to be completed. And that's a completely different circumstance from this one where this applicant is coming forward seeking a license that the board has never voted on.
Do we have a sense of how many special legislation licenses we have and how common they are? I mean, I've been part of the finance committee for about, say, 9 years now, and I don't really recall these in the past. I mean, I understand the circumstance was different, but we still have an allotted number of licenses, and now this special legislation is opening the door for more and more through an alternate avenue. And do we want to set the precedent that we're willing to continually go that route with additional licenses?
Well, Amanda, would you be willing to defer our vote until after we hear what the Board of Select people say about this?
Yes, I'd totally be fine deferring.
All right, so
I agree.
thanks. We'll put this on to the next meeting. Item 4C, all special town meeting articles. This is general, right? If we have any questions about town meeting articles or
Yes.
comments.
The only other article on the special is the one we talked about at the last meeting, the budget adjustments for snow and ice for FY26.
Is that in the form of a specific motion or article yet?
Yes, and hopefully everybody received the special.
Yeah.
So yes, that is the motion for the special for Article 2 on the special. It was in the one that was sent out on Friday.
All right. So we could vote on Article 2, which is to can you restate that for the record of those of us or summarize it for the record?
Yep, it's $470,000 from free cash to Public Works.
To cover a deficit from snow and ice removal this winter. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Any questions or discussion about this? Would someone like to make a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion to recommend approval by Wayne. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Amanda. Roll call vote. Amanda,
Yes.
Carla,
Yes.
Wayne,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes. Thank you. So the next is assigned articles. We can do this by email between the chair and individual members. You can let me know if you have any preferences. I think it's someone who voted in the majority should be the one to give a recommendation, but there's only one case really where
We carried. Yeah. Yeah.
A majority and a minority. Any
Jim,
comments?
I'll take basically anything any of them that you need me to take.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that.
I'll definitely do the capital.
Okay,
Now I'll take whatever you need me to take, Jim.
thanks for flexibility.
I'm fine with anything.
Thanks. Okay, next, the minutes of March 16th. I think there's were all sent out to everybody.
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Wayne,
I'll second.
second by Amanda. Any further discussion on the minutes of March 16th? Seeing none, roll call vote. Amanda,
Yes.
Carla,
Yes.
Wayne,
Yes.
Yes.
I vote yes. So next meeting, so Madam Administrator, how are we doing about when we have to meet again?
So the only one you haven't made a decision on is the petitioner. So it's up to you if you want to meet again before town meeting, or if you just want to wait and meet the night of town meeting.
Yeah, I think it'd be best to respect everyone's time if we meet just before town meeting. Like we meet around 6:30 and we could vote on it at that time. And the handbook can say to be voted at town meeting.
Yep.
I'm good.
I'm fine
All right,
with it.
thanks.
Okay.
Great. Well, thanks. I think everyone's very efficient, including the town administrator, for getting through this season so far.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
A motion to adjourn by Amanda,
Second.
second by Wayne. All in favor? Well, never mind. Roll call vote. Amanda,
Yes.
Carla,
Yes.
Wayne,
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Thanks. Thanks, Tom, for tuning in from Cayman Island. Enjoy your stay.
You mean Wayne? Have fun.